I reported on this months ago that Warhammer 40K, the TV show from Amazon Prime, was likely to get scrapped, and it looks like that's increasingly likely now. I think that's the case. We're going to get into the news in just a moment. This comes from That Park Place, wonderful news website. John F. Trent does a wonderful job over there, so make sure to check out their news articles every day. I'm John Delarose, everybody. I report on the Warhammer news that's going on, as well as a lot of other things and cultures. I'm also a comic creator and novel writer, and so I've got my own Terran Imperium universe. And in this one, the Emperor of Mankind has been kidnapped or replaced by a clone, making very bad decisions on behalf of humanity that are hurting some war efforts as a separatist group is coming about. Special Agent Ayla Rin is out there trying to put a stop to some fires that are being caused by the evil Scorpio Alliance, and you'll love this. If you're a big Warhammer 40K fan, I really think you're going to enjoy this, and especially enjoy the Space Marine stuff that's going to be coming out of this and spinning out of this next. So get in on this universe right here. We're building some wonderful, extensive lore that you'll enjoy, and thank you guys so much for the support already. That link's in the description below. For those who have not backed it yet. Thanks again. All right. So here we are. We knew that this was going to be an issue with Warhammer 40K. Henry Cavill he just actually cares about Warhammer lore, is what it comes down to. If you ever listen to his interviews, he is a guy who is a real gamer. He really wants to keep it straight. And there were rumors that a lot of the stuff with the female Adeptus Custodes that was happening was being driven because Amazon wanted to push the diversity, equity, and inclusivity agenda within this show, which really sucks for Warhammer. Now, Games Workshop's been on that route for a long time. We've done some exposés on the Black Library. We've done some exposés on their recent codices as well. All signs point towards just a disaster. We also learned that BlackRock, the big investment fund, is invested into Games Workshop, and so you know the fate of the properties as it goes at that point. So all this is a big conflict, and with Henry Cavill really being the spearhead of this whole deal, Amazon is more likely to drop out of this as they want to bastardize a show, as they've done many times. You've looked at The Wheel of Time, how they ruined it. Rings of Power is, of course, the biggest example. The Boys, how it became this like Trump derangement show. Amazon really wants to put their political messaging into everything, and that's going to be a problem for those who actually want to just have a lore respecting show. So Games Workshop confirmed a rumor that announced Warhammer 40K production being helmed by Henry Cavill at Prime Video could be scrapped. Back in June, Archcast claimed the show or film Games Workshop was working on could be scrapped. He noted, right now, the agreement in principle between Games Workshop and Amazon appears to be in effect. This means that a team at Amazon, a team of writers, is right now trying to write out a story that is going to be turned into Warhammer 40K television show. They have, I believe, a few more months. It's actually December, the deadline, on the deadline for this project, and they have to hand it in, and then it either has to be greenlit or they have to have their writing date further postponed and hope they can produce something better further down the line, or the entire project will be shelved. He said there's 3 opportunities. They'll have a project they'll go ahead with, they'll shelve the whole thing, or they'll extend the deadline to try to get a decent product going. In other words, nothing is finalized yet. Absolutely nothing. It's just like, and this happens with shows all the time. It's just an option. I'm kind of close with the people who own Dragon Riders of Pern, the fantasy series. They've had that series optioned dozens and dozens of times. Full scripts have been written. Nothing came out of it any of those times. It's been really sad because that property would be a beautiful one to adapt if they did it faithfully. But this sort of thing happens so often. They get an idea, they get an option for something, they give a few $1,000 for that to the company gets hyped on it because they know if it does get made into a TV show, it just builds their brand to an incredible amount, but nothing ever materializes. And so that seems to be what's going on here. It's in this early development hell, along with hundreds of other properties that Amazon's also optioned. And so it's not anywhere where like the execs are even paying attention to it. There isn't even money for the project allocated as far as my insider can tell on Amazon's behalf. No writing staff has been truly hired. No money has been allocated. No plans have been truly made. This was confirmed on Games Workshop's annual report. as they're a publicly traded company, details Games Workshop and Amazon are working together for a period of 12 months ending December 2024, and this is what I was mentioning earlier, to agree to creative guidelines for the film and television series to be developed by Amazon. So this is not even a script. It's just like, hey, what direction is the show going to go? They haven't even gotten to that point, and we are in August as of tomorrow, right? So not very long to figure this out. The agreement will only proceed if the creative guidelines are mutually agreed between Games Workshop and Amazon. We will update you accordingly. The report also detailed that if things go well, Amazon has the rights to develop Warhammer Fantasy. It states under the terms of the agreement, Games Workshop have granted exclusive rights to Amazon in relation to films and television series set within the 40K universe, together with an option for Amazon to license equivalent rights for Warhammer Fantasy universe following the release of initial Warhammer 40K production. So could be big for Games Workshop. They could have multiple projects in development, or it could just be a complete zero. It's a zero-sum game. It really is for this company right here. Now, I think there's some issues that Games Workshop's going to have because, again, with Henry Cavill meddling on this, you're going to have somebody who really cares about the lore to a point where it causes issues. And this is exactly what we were talking about back in April and all that when Games Workshop was changing their lore and lying about it, changing Wikipedias for the Warhammer 40K universe in order to pretend like this stuff happened all along. And they were the rumors were they were doing this to try to placate Amazon and to try to move the property in the direction that Amazon would want for their show. Well, this pissed off longtime war gamers and pissed off their entire customer base in the process. Really bad move on that level. Now, with Amazon not even committed to a show, it makes the move even stupider, as now you've got a bunch of unhappy fans. You don't even have people who are going to be watching any kind of show. And it looks like this is going to be a dead-on-arrival thing at this point. So the company shared back in December, we announced Games Workshop and Amazon Studios signed an agreement in principle to work together, bringing Warhammer 40K universe to screens, big and small. It added, well, today we have an update. It's when we've been longing to hear. We've now signed the full agreement. The next stage has begun. And this is from last year. So they've only got a few months on this deal to actually go forward with it and figured it out. Henry Cavill is helming this. This is his baby of a project. And I think he's actually the one that's in the middle that's causing the most problems for Amazon to figure this out because they just really want to push that woke agenda into every single thing that they can touch. So it's been an ugly year for not only Warhammer, as they've caused a lot of problems with their fan base. They've lost a lot of people. Then they announced, of course, there were price increases coming with a lot of the miniature models that were going to just upcharge things even further. It looks like they just don't care about their fan base whatsoever, and they just want to court this modern audiences group that wants transgender-colored space marines and things like that. It's insane. They might have been doing it on behalf of Amazon, but if there is somebody in there that's throwing a wrench into things, saying that we want to respect the lore, we want to respect the fandom, we want to respect this property, which is so beautiful, which has so many books, has audio dramas, has video games, wonderful stuff out there, that we want to keep it all consistent. You know that these companies hate this kind of thing at the end of the day. These companies really are just really insidious on every single level, and they all want to push in the same direction because they're all owned by that same investment fund at the end of the day that's pushing this stuff on everybody, BlackRock. So we'll see what happens here. I'm not optimistic for one. I don't think that they're going to be able to come to some sort of term that's going to be able to figure things out right here. I see that Space Marine 2 obviously is going to be coming out, which is going to amp up fandom a little bit. From the looks of things, Space Marine 2 actually looks to be pretty good as a property. And I think that they are probably going to make a worthy success to the first game, which was a wonderful video game. But overall, Games Workshop is just like somebody you can't support at this juncture. They literally hate their own fandom. They want to bring in a different fandom. They are just anti-consumer on every level. And then Amazon is one of the worst companies in the whole world. I mean, gosh, guys, I have to deal with them regularly as an author. And I got to tell you, the hoops that you jump through and the amount of percentages they take and then anti-competitive processes that they put to try to force you into having exclusive rights with them, you know, they're not a nice company to deal with either. So you have two bad companies on opposite ends with Henry Cavill stuck in the middle here, just trying to defend us, trying to defend the fandom, and trying to defend the lore. It's my thoughts. It's probably just not going to happen, and that's going to be bad news for Games Workshop because they banked a lot on this. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to check out my awesome alternative science fiction, The Hidden Emperor. This is on Kickstarter. It's really awesome. You're going to love it. Thank you guys for being there and supporting.